Back in December, I orchestrated a team of people to do a multicam shoot for a big gospel concert that was put on by the local churches in my area. Now, I actually did a multicam shoot for this concert the previous year as well, and that was really successful, great fun and great experience. But this time around, there's a few little things I wanted to improve upon. So I did film some behind the scenes stuff, and I'm going to show that to you now. So the day started pretty early in the morning for those who are helping to set everything up. I first helped with bringing in some of the choir and band staging before moving to assist with setting up things like risers for the tripod cameras, some of the tech table stuff, and generally just sorting through all the camera equipment that was brought. Some of it was brought by me, some of it I borrowed from people, some of it was brought by Dave the sound guy as well, so there's a lot to sort through and organise. We had a total of 12 Lumix full frame cameras, including S1s, S5s and S5 IIs, all with a mixture of zoom and prime lenses depending on what was needed. So in an ideal world, we would have shot everything in 4K, 10-bit vlog, but unfortunately we ran into a few limitations. First of which being the original S5 has a 30-minute limit in 4K 10-bit, which is really annoying. You can't disable it in any way unless you use an external recorder, which we didn't have enough. So we had to record all those in 8-bit, and that meant vlog was kind of out the question because it would have just been completely mush by the time we tried to correct for it. So we ended up having to use the natural profile instead, because half the cameras being used were also being outputted to a video feed like you get in bigger concerts. We had a couple of projector screens, and the picture profile had to be somewhat usable on those screens. Now we could have run some kind of conversion LUT and that sort of thing, but again it was going to be a bit too complicated, and we found natural works pretty well. The only annoying thing is that the natural profile isn't the most grade friendly, and I think in an ideal world I would have used vlog with a LUT, or I would have used like the Cinelight D, which is one of my favourite profiles that's not log based. In the run up to the concert as well, various people had also been filming some video clips to be played in between some of the songs on the screens. The video that I was tasked with doing was a spoken word video, so I went and shot that about a week or two prior so I could send it to the organisers and make sure they were happy with everything. And then going back to the main concert, we had also created a rough plan based on the previous year's camera placements. We had a very rough diagram which showed pretty much where the cameras needed to be, although some things got moved around a little bit, but it gave us a fairly good idea of where things needed to be, the sort of cables we needed, so it made things a lot quicker to set up than the previous year. Okay, right, so this is all the camera setup we've got for the gospel night. These are the two main follow focus cameras. They're both Lumix S5 IIs. On this screen here, this is where Benj will be basically running a switcher and a camera, because he's absolutely mad. Ed, the other camera operator, will be running the kind of main hero follow focus camera. Then over here, as Joe carefully doesn't trip over, we've got another camera on a 24-105. That's not running on the video feed, that's just for the recording. Then this one down the front here, that is also on the feed, that's our wide shot on a very cool moving kind of slider track thing here. This next camera is kind of sort of fitted in between these two speakers here. This is basically our wide angle choir cam. We've got other angles as well, but it's one we can cut to. That is actually also running on the video feed, which is not set up yet. There'll be a projector either side of the stage, which will basically be for people who have their view blocked so they can look at the screens like you would in a big concert. We also had an audience cam on a very tall light stand, as well as a drum cam, both of which were linked to the video feed. We ended up with a spare S5 as well, so I decided to put that in the back corner on a wide just for an extra safety shot if I needed it. And then we had 4 of us handheld rather than 3 the previous year. So my wife Jenny was on an S5 II with a 24-105 lens up on the balcony. We had 2 other guys, Joe and Matt, who were on 85mm lenses on the S5 II. And then myself, I was on the 24-70 with my S5 IIX in APS-C mode. That is because the hybrid zoom function for the S5 II and S5 IIX came out like weeks after this concert, which is really annoying because that would have been very helpful. Dave, quick, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Do you love how we're getting serenaded right now? This doesn't happen for most of ourselves. There's a saxophonist in the background. I'm loving it.
What are you doing, Dave?
Oh, thank you.
No.
Thanks, Dave. This is Chris, who is basically running all the choir. Chris, what do you want to say about Gospel Night?
I'm so excited about tonight. It's just going to be some amazing music, amazing fun. It's going to be a great party atmosphere and celebrating Christmas and the message of it. Can't wait to hear the choir singing some of the songs. Joy to the World is an absolute classic. Revelation 19, get everyone singing, and there's some maybe some weird stuff going on as well tonight involving large inflatable beach balls.
Oh, I wasn't told about this. This is exciting.
No, this is all secret.
Excellent. You spoiled it all. Great.
Yeah. There's even a little Star Wars reference just for you, man. So
I am Josh. I play the drums. I've got the drummers right here. They're in a cage because they're so loud, and I have to cage them up to reduce the volume just a little bit. But we've got some massive cymbals because I like big cymbals, but not too much because the gospel style we're going for is not particularly good for like those big cymbals. So it doesn't really like. Those big cymbals aren't very good for this kind of style, but I still have the big cymbals just because I like the big cymbals.
I'm Matt, I'm operating cameras. Josh was lying a minute ago. We actually keep him in the cage, otherwise he's a liability to the crowd. It's more of a cage, like an actual cage, like in a zoo, you know.
I'm with Nathaniel Bond. Tell me about yourself, Nathaniel.
Today I'm going to be playing percussion.
Nice.
I'm going to be hitting some things.
Yeah.
Shaking some things. It's gonna sound good.
Great. Coming to interview my wife.
You're gonna interview your wife?
Yes.
Oh, great.
What I'm really loving is everyone's really embracing this.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm the least qualified videographer that will be here tonight, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good fun.
Right, so Benj, what is your role tonight?
I do cameras. That's what I do. Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on?
Mostly pointing a camera at people.
What are you doing with?
There's cables, mate. Yeah.
So we seem to have solved things. We're having issues with camera inputs and stuff and SDIs and all this sort of nonsense, so we think we've solved it all now. Drums cam had no power, solved that. The room cam of the congregation, that's all been sorted. So we have all 6 inputs now, and now it's just a case of basically waiting for the lighting to be set up, and then we can do exposure setting, white balance, all that stuff, and then we've only got, how long have we got? Oh, we've got a few hours. We've got a bit of time, so we'll be okay. We'll be okay. So with everything set up, it was time to finish the lighting and to set exposure and white balance on the cameras. We used the rehearsal as a chance to practice some camera moves and make sure we knew where each person was going to be. So this year, unfortunately, we didn't have headsets like we did the previous year. We just weren't able to get them sorted. So we had to kind of rely on making sure each person knew what their role was and where they were supposed to be, and just generally trust each other's intuition and just rely on our kind of experience doing this sort of thing. So filming itself went really well for the most part. You can see in some of these POV shots I was mostly one side of the stage, although occasionally I did swap to the other side with Joe because sometimes he was on photos, so occasionally I went to the other side to capture those bits whilst Matt captured the other side. However, the two things that were slightly frustrating was two of the S52 batteries were just running internally and the show ran longer than expected. Then they just conked out partway through the last song, which was a bit annoying. And then the more annoying thing was I somehow forgot to format the cards in the drum cam, so I just ran out of space partway through. Again, super annoying. This sort of thing can happen. Really, the lesson here is to have bigger capacity cards, so even if you forget to format, it's not a big problem. But yeah, for the most part, the drum cam was fine. Just the last couple of songs, it unfortunately cut out, so I was left with not as many angles as I wanted, because the drum cam is a really useful angle to cut to sometimes. I've got to say that Ed and Benj, who are running the main tripod cameras on the video feed, did an excellent job. Benj in particular was also handling camera switching as well as running a tripod camera, so mad props to him. I would have been so stressed doing that, but he managed to do it. Also a shout out to Tim, who is running an additional tripod angle just for the recording. It just added some extra angles which was really useful to cut to in the edit. And of course a shout out to the handheld operators, Jenny, Matt and Joe. All did a great job just providing enough extra angles to really help make that multicam edit really dynamic and interesting. And also a big shout out to all the people who actually made the event happen, tech, music and otherwise. It really couldn't have happened without all the amazing volunteers who just gave up their time. It was such a great experience and I would absolutely do it again. So the main concert video is actually still a work in progress, but some of the individual tracks are already out on YouTube, so I'll link them in the description down below. There's more to come, so hopefully anything else that comes out I will be able to share. I'll say as well that doing speculative work like this is massively important for building up a portfolio and building up experience, especially if you're not necessarily finding the opportunities for work in the areas you want to go into. Something quite exciting that actually happened to me very recently based on the previous year's video was that I got contacted by a band who are doing a European tour, and I've actually recently gone out and filmed with them based on the speculative work that I did for the previous year. If you've got similar things happening in your area or even want to organise something and make these sort of things happen, it's highly worth doing. You get to work with great people who are also passionate. It just works out for everyone, especially if it's something you're really interested in. Anyway, I hope that was interesting and enjoyable to watch and hopefully inspired you. If you did enjoy it, obviously like and comment and all that sort of stuff. Apologies that it's taken me so long to upload again. I had intended to upload every other week, but it's just not happening. I'm getting super busy with weddings, and as I said, I was in Europe the end of last month, so getting videos out every other week is proving challenging, and I think going forward it's probably more likely to be maybe once a month. But do still consider subscribing. I've got a number of videos in the pipeline already shot and a few other ideas as well, so hopefully there should be some interesting stuff coming in the coming year. Anyway, I'll leave it there and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.